Hi, my name is Zachary DeBaugh. This is the MSWO video, multiple stimulus without replacement. This is for SPCE610 behavioral consultation, and this is the fall 2024 semester. So I have my visual aid here that goes through all of these steps of the multiple stimulus without replacement preference assessment. So for the first step is to prepare your material. So I have all 7 of my materials laid out here. Step 2 would be to introduce the array to your client or whoever you're working with. So get them familiar with the items, let them see the items. Step 3 would be to conduct the choice trials. So that is going to be laying out the items, and you would have your client pick an item. So you'd say, pick one, and whichever one they choose to play with, you would then mark it on your data. So let's say first they pick the screwdriver. So they would play with the screwdriver. However much your predetermined time is, probably 30-60 seconds, depending on how you're running the preference assessment. And since it is a multiple stimulus without replacement, we are going to remove the item from the array after they're done playing with it. So we are going to be down to 6 items. And after they choose that item, you would go to your data collection sheet and you would mark where the item was taken from in the array and what the item was. So the screwdriver was item C. And then you would move on, you would have them pick a different item. So you'd say, pick one. And let's say they pick the pencil next. So you would mark that down, your data collection sheet, and put what the item is. And then you would move on to the next one after removing that and not replacing it. So the next one, let's say they choose the Band-Aid. So play with the item, remove it, and mark it down on your data sheet. So I was going to be in the last position, and that is item B. And then represent the array. And let's say they choose the pen next. Play with the pen, remove after they're done, and represent the array after taking your data. And then for the next trial, there are 3 items left. Let's say they choose the chapstick. Play with the chapstick, remove, and now you have 2 items left. There are 2 items left. Next, say they choose the USB. Play with that, remove the item, take your data, and then you would be on the last one, and you would pick your item, they would pick the tape, it's the only one left. Play with that for the predetermined amount of time, remove that, and then as far as the trials go, that is done. So you have all your data collected. I have the 3 trials before I went ahead and did as a mock, and then this is the one I just completed. This one right here, sorry. And then you would add up all of the trial numbers for that specific item. So the sum trials for number A, for item A, I went ahead and added up the other 3 beforehand to make this quicker. So the sum of trials for item A is 16. The sum of trial numbers for B is 22. For C is 9. Sum trials for D is 14. For item E is going to be 19. For item F is going to be 14. And for item G is going to be 18. So we have all of our totals there, and to read this data, to analyze it, which is the final step on our MSWO process, is to analyze the data. So for this one, the highest preferred items are going to be the ones that have the trial count of the lowest, because that means it was picked early on in the preference, so it's highly preferred. So if we look at all of our highest preferred numbers, we have the screwdriver being the most preferred, and then followed up by the chapstick and the USB drive. If you look at the lowest preferred items, which is going to be the ones with the highest trial count, that means they were picked close to last in the trials. You're going to have the Band-Aid and the pen are going to be the lowest preferred items. And then you go into the middle in between those 2, and we have the pencil and the tape are going to be the moderately preferred items. So reading this data, we know when we're going to want to run our interventions, we're going to probably have screwdrivers, chapsticks, USB drives. That's going to be the most important, the highest preferred items, and going to make our interventions most likely to succeed, which is the importance of preference assessments. The interventions can only be as strong as these motivating operations, which is these reinforcers. So if you don't have an item that they're willing to work for, they're not going to do that work. The interventions are not going to work. So preference assessments are extremely important, and we need to be doing them often because items become satiated very quickly. I know myself, I change what I like doing all the time. So it works the same with our clients. And that is the multiple stimulus without replacement video.